Hi, everyone, and welcome to Let's Get Visible, a podcast for small business owners, helping them to grow, have a sustainable business, and get more visibility online. I'm Dawes Brown, and I'll be bringing you SEO and digital marketing tips, as well as interviews and conversations with other small business owners. So, let's get started. So today I'm joined by Daniel Olival. He is a graphic designer and a personal trainer by trade and has been running Xndr King for just over a year now. Daniel is currently studying to become a life coach, and his passion has always been to guide people to take control of their lives, to believe that they can live it better, and to pursue their passion and dreams, even if it means they're charging at it alone. Eventually, along the journey of pursuing their dreams, they'll find the right people that will encourage them to push on. So let's welcome to the Let's Get Visible podcast, Daniel.
Yeah. Hello, Doreen. Thank you for having me.
Hi. So thank you for being part of the podcast today. Now, we connected about 3.5 years ago locally. And you've also helped me with my clients and with my own graphic design as well. So I'm super excited to share you with my audience on the podcast.
Awesome.
Yay. So in the introduction, you're a really busy boy. So I mentioned that there's like 3 different things that you do. So you do graphic design, and you've been doing that for about 8 years.
Correct.
You're also a personal trainer, and you've been doing that for about 5 years. And then in the last 12 months, you also founded and launched Xndr King.
Correct, yeah.
So I really want to know, and I'm sure everyone else wants to know, what made you decide to launch these businesses? So what is the real, purpose and passion behind, each of these businesses that you founded and launched?
Yeah, so the first one was graphic design. I mainly decided to do graphic design because I wanted to release my own CD covers.
Oh,
to
cool.
Be a musician. Yeah.
So you wanted to be a musician?
Yeah, and I still do it in the future because I still play piano and stuff.
I did not know this, so can we expand on this topic a little bit further, please? Tell me all about this.
So because I play the piano and I sing at church, I've always wanted to compose my own music and write my own music. You can actually find an album on iTunes with only 8 songs. It's pretty bad. It's not the greatest, but it's mostly instrumental pieces of music. There is 3 songs that I actually do sing. It sounds horrible, but it's a starting point. It was a process and a progress, and I enjoyed the journey of that. So I mainly did graphic design so that I could actually design my own CD covers, which eventually in the future I will do. Yeah. Hopefully. But that was the main reason why I did graphic design. But then when I did graphic design, I went into it with an attitude of, I just only want to do CD covers. But then when I was finishing off the graphic design course, I realized that there's actually so much more that you can do. You know, there's logos, business cards, magazine layouts, posters, flyers, everything. So it was exciting to realize I can do so much more than just music.
Yeah.
I can do a whole lot more with graphic design, just the power of the skill of having that behind me. So that was the start of graphic design. That was why I started doing graphic design. And then I did a year break of TAFE or anything like that, or education, and I decided eventually that I was going to do personal training.
Mm-hmm.
So then this one gym in Warilla at the time called Club O2 were offering casual positions. So I thought, you know what, let's do my course online, because then I can fit in the casual position and fit in, because I was still working in retail at a clothing store.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, let's just do it online. Smash it out. My mum was always saying, you're eventually going to become a personal trainer, so just do it. And then one of my friends signed up and they're going, you know what, let's just dive in. Let's just do it. And because I'm all about physical fitness, being healthy physically, I was like, it's obviously eventually going to happen, so I might as well just do it now. Why wait?
Yeah.
What's the point in waiting?
It's a right fit for you based on, as you said, your beliefs and personality, and the fact that you love health and fitness, right up your alley. Yeah,
exactly. And then I've always eventually wanted to release my own clothing line, mainly because I would go to the shops and I worked in retail, so I was like, there's so many bad design.
Yeah.
design stuff. So I'm going, there's nothing really that I'm attracted to that expresses my personality or my nature of persona. So I'm like, I did release one called Julian Spencer, but I didn't push that because it wasn't vibing with me. But that was a trial run, so to speak.
Yep.
Process of designing just any form of streetwear or any casual wear, so to speak.
Yes.
And then I eventually just pushed that aside for a bit, but then I'm like, I know I've got a great idea, and Xndr King came to life. But it wasn't until like a year and a half or 2 years later that I actually decided to push it out and just go for it rather than waiting back. Because I remember listening to podcasts and other entrepreneurs, in a sense, mostly Gary Vee, saying, why wait? What are you waiting for? You know, you have one life. There's no point in waiting and just waiting for the right moment, because the right moment never comes.
Absolutely.
So just go for it. So then that's when Xndr King came to life, and I decided to just push it and go for it. Unfortunately, though, with like I said before, with I mentioned to you before about the trademark, I've had to change the name and tweak it a little bit and have to change the logo just so I can then trademark it my own thing without having any legalities attached to it, or and any future problems that will come my way. So it's an evolving process, which I love about it as well. Like it's always changing, always evolving, always adapting to it. So
and you just learn so much, don't you?
Exactly.
From each avenue that you've mentioned. So first you've got the graphic design, you've got personal training, and then launching your own clothing line. I think with each of those areas comes its own little bag of
definitely
learnings and lessons and things like that. So a little bit more, I guess, about Xndr King. So can you tell us about that brand and I guess what your goals are and why, apart from going into stores and not really seeing great design, what else really was your passion behind launching that? And I know a little bit about the story, but I'd love you to share that with us.
So the concept of Xndr King, I started off with King when I was bringing up the brand, and the mentality of I wanted to create a movement of having this mentality of always wanting to better yourself, always wanting to improve yourself. And coming from my Christian background, being a king was being trying to raise your standards of yourself, taking responsibility of your life, take control of it, own up to your mistakes, own up to your faults and flaws, and then charging forward with this idea and concept of, I'm going to try being the best version that I can as much as I can. And, it's not a overnight process. It takes a while to improve and tweak, your personality or your attitude towards life or your mentality. It takes a long period of time sometimes. So, and eventually got to like Xander was just a cool name. I love names that start with X. So Xavier is one of my favorite names. I'm going, Xavier King doesn't really work, so Xndr King does work. So that's the reason why Xndr King's there.
Gotcha.
Was in front of there.
Yeah.
But so I wanted to make a movement, and it just seemed fitting to, especially with the whole King part. I wanted to get the crown on point to attract young people, especially between the age of 16 and 30, having that street sort of vibe.
Yep.
Because it's not, and I wanted to project that, being a king isn't about, the clothes or the formal kind of clothes that you wear, or even the flashy jewelry that most, like the sort of ghetto street vibe culture sort of has.
Yep.
I wanted to sort of mix the two together in a sense and make it a bit more fun and funky with my donut designs, but also nice and casual and relaxed. You can be a better version of yourself without projecting yourself to be like formal wear or, like you're a business sort of person, but also you don't have to be dressed completely or downgrade your dress, I guess, style. You can dress modestly, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
To project yourself,
Yeah, is it tailored more towards male wear, or can chicks and females wear them as well? I'm looking at me.
It is mainly targeted at men because of the King part of it, and also because of the amount of men's suicide that's going around Australia. It's mainly targeted towards men, encouraging them to be vulnerable and courageous, but we also do cater for female wear. So we do have female tops and tanks and stuff like that. Just so that females, because, we need queens in our lives to also support us and grow.
Yeah.
Kings can't do this alone. We can't do this just as kings. We need queens in our lives as well to make us
And
flourish
vice
or make us
versa.
grow. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely, and vice versa. And you touched on the mental health aspect, and I know that
Yes.
you do a lot of work fundraising for different organisations
Yeah.
and events. So has Xndr King kind of helped you do that as well, or?
Yeah. So 30% of our proceeds go to Southern Youth and Family Services, and they
Mhm.
deal with homelessness, and teenagers and young youth under the age of 25 that deal with homelessness, or
Mhm.
dealing with family struggles in a sense where they're on the close to being homeless.
Yeah.
So, and I've worked with them for the past, I think, 4 years,
Yes.
and just seeing the amount of kids that are struggling, or the disadvantaged kids that are struggling, and brought up in homes that are not the best. What's the right word?
Dysfunctional.
Yeah, dysfunctional. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just seeing how they are struggling in life, really, and they
Yeah.
don't have the emotional intelligence to push on and move on and get out of their little rut to live a better life, or to behave in a way that's will improve their health and mentality.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I feel like I need to be part of the community, and being a king also is being part of the community and contributing back to the community, I feel. So that's just one of the organizations that we fundraise to. Also, we have Talk to Me Bro versions that we've done, designs,
Yeah.
and they go towards 100% of those proceeds go to Talk to Me Bro.
Yeah.
And that's to help with men's mentality, men's mindset, and just to encourage men's health, in the sense that we're trying to break the stigma of having the negative stigma of, it's not okay to talk, it's not okay to have feelings, it's not okay to, when it is okay. It is completely okay to not be okay. It is
Yeah.
okay that you don't have it all together. It's okay that you might not understand an emotional stress that you're feeling, that it can be worked out, and any situation can be worked out. You just have to have patience and open up to your friends, that have a good support group.
Yes.
That's the whole idea behind Talk to Me Bro. So
Yeah, we've done a couple of things together for
yes.
that particular fundraising event, and that's just been an awesome thing to do. So you've integrated your personal training and your
Yes.
fitness background in order to help with Talk to Me Bro
Correct.
events. So you've really lent into the areas that are wonderful and great for you, but they're also helping people within your community, which is awesome on so many levels, because I think it's important to have a purpose behind what you're doing, not just for the sake of doing something.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I recently interviewed Carolyn, and her hashtag is do good shit. Because,
That's awesome.
it makes such a difference when you're running a business, but you're doing it with purpose. It just changes the whole look, feel, vibe. People want to be part of the movement. They want to, be
definitely.
part of your journey.
Definitely.
And it just makes more difference than just having a business that you're launching. That's the goal is, just the dollar sign. It's not long lasting, and it doesn't work. But when you work with purpose, gosh, it makes an impact on so many different levels.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, definitely.
And this is one of the things that I love about you, and the fact that we've, had a connection over the last 3 or so years, because I could see that, within you, and that you always have purpose driven reasons behind what you do. And it's nice to have that within your own community, because then it inspires you to do good shit and to do things that actually have more value than just a dollar figure.
Amen.
Definitely where I'm at as well.
Yeah, good.
Now, with your different sets of geniuses, I think, or things that you do so well, I guess from a top level, perspective, can you kind of advise in a little bit more? I know you've touched on it already, but is there a particular way that you can best serve or help your people, so your audience or your customers? And you might want to dissect this into 3 different sections. So if we're looking at it from a graphic design perspective in comparison to your PT work, and then with your Xndr King, where do you feel, and look, there could be a common element for all of them as well. Yeah, but how do you best serve your people and your customers with what you do?
I apologize if I get this question wrong.
That's all right.
I will start with graphic design though.
Yeah.
Well, I guess all three of them is listening to what your client needs, or what your community or your customer needs in a sense.
Yep.
And trying to find a way to find a solution to meet their need.
Yes.
And that's definitely with obviously graphic design and personal training. It's obvious, they come to you and they say, hey, I have a logo design that I need to get done. This is what I'm sort of looking like. I want this feel. I like these colors, et cetera, et cetera. And also this is my business. So obviously then I can then translate and go, okay, with shapes, color and everything, I can put it together and find a solution to portray or project what your business feels like, and what, their values or their brand identity should show through, and you can see through the logo, okay, I can understand on a like people consciously don't actually see it or pay attention, but subconsciously they are emotionally affected by a logo or any kind of branding.
Agree. Yep.
Yeah. So even with personal training, people come to me and say, I want to build some muscle, I want to lose some fat, I want to get fit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So then you have to meet those needs and go, okay, what is your ultimate goal? And what's your other two minor goals in a sense? And then you try and tweak their regime or their program so that they can achieve the goals that they want.
Yep.
But with personal training, that's when I realized it's more mental than physical, because some people come to the personal training session and they're not giving it 100%. So then they're only giving like 60 or 70%. So then I'm going, okay, what is distracting you in the background? What's hindering you from, pushing on and doing your best? And even sometimes they're like, oh, I only got one session in this week, or I'm not, on top of my nutrition and stuff. And it's just like, okay, what is the main factor behind that's driving you? And like, you're coming here only 50% all in. Where is what's driving you, and what's happening in the background? What's wrong, in a sense?
Yeah.
And then from there, I'm there going, like, I've always eventually wanting to be a life coach. And I thought with Xndr King, with my movement, I'll eventually become a life coach so I can offer that service through it as well, because I want to help my clients become kings or queens of their own life.
Yeah.
And not stuck in a rut all the time, and help them to emotionally be able to figure out what's going on and work out on themselves and go, okay, I know what's wrong. I know what I need to do. I now know what the next move is, and let's go.
Yeah.
And also to pass that knowledge on to their own clients or their own people that they're surrounding with.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, with Xndr King, I want it to be an overall. So eventually with Xndr King, I'll offer services of personal training and life coach, as well as clothing, that people will feel motivated or inspired to go and live every day like a king or a queen.
Yeah.
Sense. So
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think you've touched on something really important in business as well, is that sometimes we're just going through the motions of day-to-day tasks. Yeah. And then we get to the end of the day, I know I do, and I'm like, I have not achieved, 5 out of the 6 goals that I wanted to today. I've got proposals that I need to put together. I've got, calls that I need to make. I've got, updates to websites that I need to do. But I think you're right. I think you've really tapped into something there, because I think there's something external that holds us back from achieving the goals that we want to, either on a daily, weekly, monthly, or yearly basis.
Yeah.
And the fact that you have clients who will come to you and they're like, I want to lose the weight, or I want to get fit, or I want to tone up.
Yeah.
But recognizing that there are, I guess, psychological or mental things, not in a negative way, but there are things that are holding them back that have got nothing to do with the goal, as in the physical part of it. It is a mental, part. And that's what we need to keep fit and keep healthy. So then the outside, which is just really it's almost like a jumpsuit or something that, you know, we're given in this lifetime. Like our physical presence is actually not, it's real, but it's not who we are. It's the inside, right? Who is, So I think even in business, I find that too. I think there is more to it than, why am I not getting through this, you know, to-do list today? And it really does come back to that whole mindset and structuring that in the best way possible, so then you can maximize the hours and the minutes and the seconds that you have in your day. And look back and feel like, oh my gosh, I've actually achieved, you know, at least 80 or 90% of that. But yes, so much of it is more mental than it is, you know, physical. So I can, definitely relate to that. Now, with all of these wonderful things, and I can from this conversation see, as you said, so Xndr King is going to become really the house of all of these wonderful gifts, you know, and geniuses that you have, which is great. And I bet, or I'm guessing, that when you started doing graphic design, when you started doing personal training, even when you maybe started Xndr King, that at the time you didn't know that all of the pieces of these puzzles were going to connect until most recently, where you're like, hang on, Xndr King can be more than just you know, clothing, and there's nothing wrong with it just being clothing. But now it's going to encompass all of these other things that are your strengths, where you know you can help people and you're doing it with purpose. Is there anything that you would do differently over the years and over the time that it's taken, I guess, for you to get from, you know, A all the way to B? Hindsight is a great thing, right? So, if you were to go back and say to your younger Dan self, hey, Dan, in hindsight, having now gone through this journey over the last 8.5 years, would I do this differently, and why?
I think it goes back to, like you said before, something mental holding you back. And when I was younger, up until the age probably of 26, I was chasing mostly validation and approval with friends. And I would always be chasing for a friend to always hang out with, rather than focusing on my goals and the bigger picture. And, you know, even the friends that I was chasing, they didn't have the same mindset as me. And so like when we first started the friendship, they sort of projected that they did. So we're like, yes, this is going to be an awesome friendship. But then after a while, 6 months, you're like, this person has absolutely the opposite direction of where I want to head to. So I feel my younger self, I wish I could say to them, like, stop chasing for friends, because they're not going to be your happiness. Friends and surround, just try and, you know, obviously everyone wants to feel belonged, and we want to feel included in a group, or, you know, we want to be appreciated by someone or some people as a, you know, a friend setting. You know, you want to be able to go out every weekend and hang out with someone, and not feel lonely so much. So I feel if I could convince my younger self to realize that friendships are not the center of your happiness. You know, prevailing to do the best that you can, even if you're doing it alone. And that's why I always say, like, you know, sometimes you've got to walk down or go in the opposite direction of a highway, or, you know, a freeway, and to get your goal, because you know that that's what your passion is, that's your calling. You should just fight for it, even if you're doing it alone, no one else is helping you. That's fine. Just accept that, you know, what you're doing is the right thing for yourself. And that nobody else needs to applaud you. No one else needs to be there to support you or, you know, help you along. You can do this on your own. and they can do whatever they want on their own. It's okay.
And that's okay, yeah. And
Yeah.
sometimes it takes us a really long while to come to that realization. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still quite young, and to have realized that at your, young age that you are now is awesome.
Yeah.
It's taken me over 40 years to come to that realization. So, because I'm like you. So I straight up put my hand up and say, yep, I'm a people pleaser. And I will, like I have in the past. I'm trying not to do that anymore, but even put myself on the back foot, as long as that other person is getting what they want or what they need. It made me feel happy to see them happy. It made me feel happy to see them succeed. But what I kept doing was forgetting about Dawes. And so Dawes, would be the last person on that priority list. And Dawes was sitting there, burnt out, exhausted, confused, upset, sad, all the emotions of the rainbow that you can, imagine. And I'm just, had to sit back exactly like you one day and just go, you know what? The people that I'm surrounding myself with are actually going to have a massive impact on my own goals and my own direction. And so I need to identify what it is that I want first. And it's not about being selfish, but if we don't get control over what it is that we want or need, the universe or whatever it is that you choose to believe in, and that's all good, but it won't deliver the things that are meant for us or the right path that we're meant to be headed on, if we keep living for other people's purpose, and just so that, as you said, we don't feel alone, or we don't feel like we can't hang out with someone of a weekend or during the week after work. And so we're sometimes, still wanting our goal, but the universe is a little bit confused, because it's like, well, hang on a minute, you said you wanted this, now you're going in that direction, and then you're going left instead of going right. So I actually can't deliver. I can't give you what it is that you want or need, because you're confusing the shit out of me, let alone, everyone and everything else. So, I think that is a beautiful part of hindsight, is being able to learn from those lessons, and being able to say, I recognize my behavior, I recognize my pattern, I'm owning it, I'm not blaming anyone else for any of the decisions or things that I do, because I'm the one at the end of the day, who's doing them. But who you surround yourself with is so bloody important, because if you do end up, as you said, 6 months down the track, and they've got a completely different vision and different goals, you are going to go in different directions, and you're going to start to question, what am I doing? And going back to your purpose and the reason why you're doing what you're doing is hard when you've got a connection with someone and you don't want to break up or disrupt that friendship, because that person's now become important for you, but you're starting to derail your own train. And that's definitely more difficult in going, I'm recognizing this, and I need to step away from the vehicle, because this is not taking me, where I want to go.
Correct.
So I think a lot of us, learn that lesson. But, as I said,
takes a while.
It takes a while, and not always in your 20s. Sometimes it's in your 30s or 40s. So
definitely.
But it's still something you go through, and something you learn. But no, all good. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, part of this podcast obviously is Let's Get Visible. So it's about getting our businesses, our brands out there, and being able to connect with the right people, as we've just said, to, spread the word about our services or our products, and how we can help. So whether this is online or offline, what would you say has been the best way to build now it's Xndr King, but each of your individual services that you've offered, what's been the best way to really get the message out there, and what's worked for you, and why do you think it's worked for you as well?
So with my graphic design, I don't actually fully push that online. It's mainly just word of mouth, or just my design work through clients. talking about my design, I guess. So other people that I've had worked for, they've just said, oh, my friend's done this business card for me, try him, sort of thing.
Yes.
And then that's how I sort of get business, mostly through word of mouth.
And how powerful is word of mouth? Even in 2020, where technology is, like transforming each and every one of our lives, word of mouth and people, I feel, will always be the strongest form of marketing that you can do, regardless of what other technology comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting that recommendation from someone that you like, know, and trust, they are the three key things, and that is the best, way that you can do good shit, and then that good shit will eventuate in getting that like, know, trust factor, with
exactly
as well. Yeah. Excellent. So that way, sorry, I'll be quiet and let you keep going.
Personal training, I found mostly, well, obviously in the gym, the exposure of being in the gym, people see you working out other clients, or even just talking to the members. I find that when I walk around the members, like there was people that I've known for 2 years, and never have they once thought of getting personal training, and then all of a sudden they just go, oh, hey, and I've never brought up and said, like, if you want personal training, don't forget to or message me, call me, here's my business card or whatever. I've never actually had to push myself for services or anything. They eventually come to me and ask me for advice, or say, hey, can I get a personal training session, because I'm just in a little bit of a rut at the moment with my regime. I just want to know some new things or whatever. So I find with personal training, I've mostly, with all my clients, it's all through the gym and all through also word of mouth. Like I've had client, or even just members at the gym, they would go, oh, hey, my wife is interested in PT. What's your number or thing? And I can give it to her and pass it on, sort of thing. Or when you're available, and I'll book her in, sort of thing, just because I know she won't. So I've had that word of mouth again. Even if their partner or their friend doesn't actually initially go to our gym, they'll still come in, do a 7-day trial, have a free session with me. And then realize, oh, you know what, I think I can benefit from this. So
absolutely. And another key thing that you've mentioned there is you communicate with them. You have conversations with them. You treat them for what they are, which is real people. You've, worked in the space for over 5 years, so you can identify whether they do need you or don't need you. But communication, wow, in 2020, again, with all these like technology evolving, having a conversation with people, it's people to people. Like that's what people, they don't buy the product, they actually buy the person. And that's something I learned, again, the hard way. But when I launched my business, actually launching with my personal brand under, Doreen Brown, I found a better connection because, again, people either like you or they don't, and that's okay. The ones that don't are not your people, and that's okay. It's communicating with them, because if they feel that connection with you, then that automatically, gives them, again, that like, no, trust factor, and they're more inclined to want to do business with you if you just be a human being, and if you just use the basic skills of communication, listening to what they have to say, doing less of the talking, which I struggle with because I can talk underwater, but doing the listening, but just communicating and having those conversations. This is what we want. And this is what we need. It's great to have lots of automated stuff, and they serve their intention and purpose. But really speaking to someone and just letting it out, like going, hey, I've been trying to lose these 5 kilos since having my second child, and it ain't moving, Dan. Like, what can I do? And just being comfortable, and confident to know, well, you're an expert in what you do. And so coming to you is going to be helpful for me, because this isn't my jam, this isn't what I do. So
I think it's also, sorry.
Go.
I was going to say this, also genuine interest in people's lives. I feel the greatest connection. And I am interested in people's lives. What's their story? Why can't they achieve what they really want to achieve? What's really bugging
going
them or
on.
annoying them.
Yeah.
And I always try and help as much as I can, to my knowledge and to my education, of what's something that I've learned, even through experience, that would help them get out of their rut and have like a little bit of a breakthrough, so that they can then go, you know what, this issue isn't actually that big. It's just all in my head. I'm creating this big, massive issue.
Yeah.
Let me just, and I can help them sort of step out. So I feel like having proper conversation, like clear communication, coming from a place of compassion and understanding, they'll eventually realize, you know what, this person's actually genuinely interested in me as a person and wants to better me, not be here just for the money. Because I'm not. if BTs, people always think, oh, you know, that's so expensive, or you know, that you're just doing that because it's money driven. I'm like, no, not for me. It's more what I can do to help benefit your life in the end. Because there's no point in you being stuck, injured, and you know, there is exercises that can help you recover, have a good, better quality of life, rather than just sitting there with a bad quality of life, I guess.
Yeah, and not doing anything about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So being, able to identify those things with them, because again, you know, when they come to you, they might think it's a weight issue, but it, you know, most times is more to do with the mental side of things than necessarily the physical. So again, lots of gold nuggets there, and I love that. Perception is a great thing, and I think another thing about small business or solopreneurs, you know, if you run your own business, you must be rolling in it. And you're doing it because of you know, the rolling, part of it. And oh my goodness, it couldn't be further from, you know, from the truth. So I love that you touched on that as well. And so with Xndr King, because obviously we follow each other on social media as well, and I'll be sharing some of your handles so people can follow and get in touch as well. But I find that with your Xndr King brand, that you do market that a lot more.
Online.
So what are the channels that you use, and any, I guess, insights or feedback about what's worked for you since launching that of your business?
I guess it's like you said before, the purpose driven behind the business that attracts people the most. And the consistent presence, posting as consistently as I can. I've backed off a little bit for the past couple of weeks. I think because I've been stressed with other stuff, and you know, sometimes it just doesn't flow as easy or as efficiently as you would like to. And juggling the three businesses, sometimes one has to offers, or it demands more attention than the other two. So I've been trying to balance them all in a sense. But I think it's mainly just consistent online presence. So try and posting every day. Sometimes a story. Stories are my hardest thing. I'm not a person that just whips out my phone to take a photo of something or to tell people about my day. I find it very hard. I applaud those people that just can pull out their phone and go, oh yeah, I'm just cycling today, or this is what I'm eating, or, you know, I forget. I'm so, I guess, busy and so focused on my work or other stuff that I forget to take that, you know, 30-second snap, type up what I'm doing, and then post so everyone can see and have that sort of inner relationship, or people can sort of go, oh, you know, this guy's human. He is normal. He's living a normal, average life just like me. And I try my best not to advertise myself as, you know, I've got it all together, because I don't really. I try
None
not to
of us do.
We'll make it up as we go.
That's it. I don't know of any one person that's got all this shit together. And if they say that they do, I call bull on it. I just say, no, none of us have. We're all just doing the best that we can do each and every day. But I don't think any of us do. But I love the way you say that, in that, you know, it has to come through authentically for you. You can't pre-fabricate or pre-make your posts. You've got to be in that zone and in that vibe. And I kind of feel a little bit the same about social media. And I'm absolutely not, and I repeat, I am not an expert in social media. But what works for me and my personal brand is exactly what you just said, being authentic. I don't look to every single algorithm change in order to alter or edit what it is that I do. If I am not speaking from the heart, if I am not able to share something that has value, I'm not going to share it. I'm not going to wake up on a Monday morning and look at my feed or look at my Facebook page and go, oh crap, Dawes, you haven't posted something on there for a couple of days. If I don't have a voice that is genuinely going to say something of value and from the heart, you'll end up posting it, and I end up just archiving or deleting things that really just don't hold any value for me. And another thing you mentioned was being consistent. And when you are juggling lots of different balls, and that could be 3 different parts of your business, that could be kids, that could be your family, that could be whatever it is that you're juggling, it can absolutely, be difficult. But I think showing up consistently, as long as it's authentic and genuine, really is the goal to getting the visibility, that you want to need. And again, I know there are schedules. I know that there's things that you should be doing on a regular basis, as you touched on, stories on Instagram. They're massive. And I see a massive engagement difference, the same as you, when I post something, because it's like, oh, she's just a real local chick. Like, she's not anything that great or amazing. She's just normal, right? And people do connect with people. But that's what they want to see. But unless it's authentic and genuine, I agree with you. I don't have the time nor the inclination to sit there and just make it up. It has to really serve a purpose. And I need to know that it's going to connect with, the audience and the people that I'm sharing with it as well. And I'm probably really crap at consistency. So that's one of the things, that's one of the things that I'm sitting here going, yep, I need to work on that, because I know it does make a difference. But it is a matter of, as you said too, juggling all those different, balls and making sure that they're still being juggled and not dropped, on the floor and splattering like an egg.
Exactly. I was going so good with because I released an IGTV series of habits, King Habits.
Yes.
I was going so well. I'm going, yes, I'm recording one each day. This is going out really good. I've got, I've got things that I can talk about. And then I got a few jobs with graphic design where it's sort of just, I had to let go of that a little bit. And now I'm just posting like one a week, which is disappointing, but I'm there going, that's the way it is. That's the way my life is. I don't have a team of people.
No.
I can't keep being disappointed with myself that I haven't got stuff up because, I'm a one person.
Yes.
I don't have a team. I can't afford a team.
Yes.
As much as I'd love a team. But it's just the way it is. And eventually, hopefully in the next future or next year or two, I will have a team.
That's right.
The content will be continuous, consistent, and a lot more valuable than what it is at the moment. So,
and again, another great point that you touched on, as a small business owner, as solopreneurs, we usually don't have teams. And we're usually trying to be the accountant, the graphic designer, the website person, the mum, the everything. We're trying to be the everything. And so we need to give ourselves a bit of a break and just recognize we're doing the best that we can. And if other people around us, are not understanding that or are not getting that's their problem. It's not necessarily our problem. But I struggle. I struggle with that too, because I think I'm really trying. I don't want to let anyone down, but when I'm just looking at their goals and not my own, you end up letting yourself down.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, definitely.
Very cool. All right. So the naughty C word, and we're starting to come out the end of this, which is, an awesome thing. But were there any changes that you had to make to your businesses as a result of COVID-19? And do you think these changes actually helped or hindered you?
It's helped me a lot to be able to structure my life a little bit better. I find, because obviously with personal training, all the gyms closed. So
of course,
So I had the first 2 weeks or first 3 weeks, I was in a mental rut. Clients were like, "Oh, I'm happy to come to your house," and I had clients come to my house, but it was just all over the place. It was just messy. I was going to theirs, they were coming to mine, had to change my hours with 70 family services. So it was all, and recording myself doing exercises and stuff like that. It was all complete mess. And it takes me time a little bit. And because it was changing, the restrictions were changing each week.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it was getting tighter and tighter of like, okay, what can I do? So I'm like going, you know what, I'll just give it a break. I'll put in clients wherever I can, obviously, because we have to financially stabilize ourselves.
Yeah.
But I'll just take one day at a time, and what I want to work on, I will work on.
Yes.
If something that's not going to, if I work on something that's not going to, I guess, clear my head mentally, I'm not going to touch it. I'll touch it when I do have time and have everything else that I want to touch out of the way. It has affected, obviously, my personal training business because I've lost clients because they prefer not to do anything.
Yes.
or they can't afford it because they've also lost their job. So that's understandable. With graphic design, I did expect that I wasn't going to get any business because everyone's businesses were closing down a little bit. Yeah. So I didn't expect and didn't really, like I said, expect to get any jobs coming. But since now the restrictions are sort of laid back, people, I guess, have been given the chance to organize their life. So they're like, you know what, now's my opportunity to, I guess, expand my business or grow my business or, start fresh or start new. So I've had clients come to me and say, hey, I need a logo done, need business cards done. And obviously preparing, or maybe they're an essential business that they're like, you know what, I can make more money if I go to this on my own. So they've been reaching out to me. So, but with Xndr King, hasn't changed so much, mainly because it is all online. Like I said, it has given me more opportunity, more time to record myself doing my King Habit episodes, and try and produce as much content as I could during that time that I had a lot more free time. It's done good and bad, but I think most for the part, probably 80% better, because now I'm like, I know exactly what I want with my clients that I work with, especially PT.
Yep.
And I know that I can produce good content with Xndr King.
Yep.
And it's just giving myself time blocking myself, also my recharging time.
Yes.
Because I need to, like you said, sometimes you get burnt out, and that's because you're not giving yourself time to rejuvenate, regenerate, and you're not making that time. And I feel now that I have more time to focus on my needs, focus on my time, and how I'm spending it, how I'm using it.
Yes.
And sometimes you do get caught up. You're like, you know what, I'm getting good money from this. I'll go in that direction, but then realize that's the bad choice.
Yes.
And then you realize, you know what, I should. And then you go the other way and go, I'm not gonna focus on any work this week. I'm just going to give it a week break. And then you're like, oh no, now I need some financial stability. Let's chase that sort of thing. So it's a constant. So I'm like, you have to be in the middle, like find a balance where you can give yourself enough rest, but also be able to, take the responsibility that, not to go into financial debt.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really interesting because a lot of the people that I've spoken to and interviewed on the podcast have had a really similar experience in that, yes, it has meant possibly, losing some of their clients or some of their business, but they've really been able to take a different direction. And it's given people the opportunity to work on their business rather than in their business. So with the example that you've just, provided, yes, it's given you an opportunity to start to record, some of those videos for Xndr King. And that would have been something that you may have put off because there wasn't time. Because you would have had, the PT workload and those clients that continued to work with you. That would be the case. So similar boat. I think it gave me definitely the opportunity to go, what's my, wish list? What are the things that I really wanted to do in my business, but just have not had the time? But I think it's definitely now spinning back, the other way, where I've noticed more interest, more increase, inquiries, all that kind of stuff starting to come through again, because people go through different phases and stages. As you said, the first 2 or 3 weeks, very similar, like I was like pulling my hair going, oh my goodness, I don't know how to cope. I don't know how to cope. But then you go through this acceptance, so it's like this, you're scared, you go through this grieving process,
Yes.
you're excited, and then you're exhausted because out of your excitement comes all this other stuff that you've now decided you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And so it's this constant, isn't it? I call it the Small Business Express, because it's like the up and down roller coaster. You go around and around. Sometimes you're stagnant, and that's a pretty smelly place to be, but you do end up, when you're down, the only way is up. Like, that's the only way that you can go.
Exactly.
And when you're up, sometimes the only way you can go is down. But it's through those experiences that you get to refine and, as you said, decide on the things that it is that you really want to do. And it's taking that pause or taking that breath that allows you to, review that stuff, rejuvenate, as you said, take that break and then go, actually, I can manage all of my balls and juggle them all. I just need to do them, in this way and this percentage or this amount of time.
Yeah, definitely. Exactly.
But I think most people have walked out of this going, it's actually done me a lot of good.
Yeah, definitely.
So, which is a really promising and good thing to see. Now, in relation to your social platforms, so you've got people can contact you via Facebook. Yep. So what's your handle on Facebook for people?
At the moment, it's Xndr King, Xandr King, but that might change in the future. So follow me now and then you'll see that too.
Excellent. And I'm going to pop all the links through to your social media profiles on the website when the podcast launches and goes live. So we'll be able to get in touch and contact you for your suite of services and offerings that you provide.
Obviously, Xndr King's going through some changes. You can find me on Instagram, Xndr King Designs. Again, that might change slightly, but if you ever need, I guess, even some positive in your life, follow Xndr King and try and get onto the episodes, and hopefully that will inspire you to follow your dream.
Yeah.
Don't wait for it to come, or don't wait for the motivation. Just do it, and don't wait for anyone's approval. You just need your own validation and approval to push forward.
Amazing.
Do it yourself.
Love it. Oh, I knew this was going to be a good one. Thank you so much for your time, Dan.
You're welcome.
And I look forward to seeing your progress and how, Xndr King evolves. And we'll continue to follow your journey online. But just thank you so, so much for your time today. And thanks for sharing your gold with our audience as well.
No worries. And thank you for having me. It's lovely to always talk to you.
I know. I love talking with you too. Thanks, Dan. Thanks so much for listening today and making time to tune in. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please leave a review and some feedback. If you'd like to learn more about me or my services, you can find me at doreenbrown.com.au with links to social profiles so you can connect with me on there as well. Well, that's it from me today. So see you next time for the next installment of Let's Get Visible.